No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of Monday Night Raw for Monday, January 22nd, 2024. We are on the final road to the Royal Rumble Premium Live event, which is this coming Saturday on Peacock and the WWE Network. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. No, I'm not watching Barmageddon, and hopefully you're not either. You should be here watching the No DQ recap of Monday Night Raw. Now, we kicked off the show with footage of CM Punk and Cody Rhodes arriving for their in-ring confrontation. We had Seth Freakin Rollins, the World Heavyweight Champion, come into the ring to address his injury and what his future is. He was limping to the ring. He had a knee brace on. He did confirm the injury. The crowd gave him a standing ovation. They chanted, "Thank you, Seth." He talked about how it was a long week. He said that when he got to the back after last week's Raw, he thought that maybe he might have to miss WrestleMania. The MRI was done, and then the news was not great. He said that with surgery, he would be out 3 to 4 months. He said he does not know what the future holds. And at this point, we had the Intercontinental Champion, Gunther, come into the ring to confront Seth Rollins, said that he was sad about Rollins' situation since they are both workhorse champions. But then Rollins said before he was interrupted, he was going to let everybody know that he does not give a damn about what the doctors think. Rollins said he is going to keep his promise and make it to WrestleMania and defend the World Heavyweight Championship and leave as the champion. Gunther said he was happy to hear this. And Gunther said that he is going to win the Rumble and challenge Rollins for the championship. And he is going to target everything that is not 100% of Seth Rollins. Rollins responded by offering a handshake. And Gunther better remember that Rollins is somebody to deal with. They shook hands, and then New Day showed up. They attacked Imperium, who was at ringside, and that led to our first match. We had the New Day going up against Imperium in a tag team match. But before we get to that, good segment here with Seth Rollins and Gunther. I like that Gunther was teased as the potential winner of the Royal Rumble. Makes you think, okay, perhaps Gunther wins here. I don't think he's going to, but I did like that this was done, and you had the interaction between Gunther and Seth Rollins. We had our first match of the evening. By the way, Royal Rumble predictions, Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on the No DQ YouTube channel. Make sure you check that out. Frank, no updates until the end of February. But this March, I am going to be learning the alto saxophone as I promised. I haven't forgotten about it. I have to make a little trip to California to pick up that saxophone. And once I get it back in my possession, you better believe I'll be taking those lessons. Before WrestleMania, you're going to hear the saxophone. Anyways, let's get back to the Raw recap. Pretty standard match here. New Day versus Imperium. It ended up being thrown out. It was a double count out. And it was more about the post-match. They were brawling all over the place. They went out into the crowd. And then all four guys ended up on the equipment cases. And everybody went off, crashed through the tables below. And the crowd was chanting Holy Shit, which got censored by USA Network. It was about the angle. It wasn't about the actual match. They did the angle at the end, and it was good. It was a good angle. I'm glad they did a short match. I've mentioned this many times. I'm not a fan of when you have a really long match on TV and it just ends in a double count out or double DQ. At least here, they just did the short match and spent more time focusing on the angle. We'll get another match with these guys at some point. This was fine. And Vinci is back after suffering a concussion a few weeks ago. That's definitely good news. We had a Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest video package, and Priest was interviewed, said he was going to handle McIntyre, and things got a bit heated with the members of Judgment Day, and Rhea Ripley told Finn Balor to show a more vicious side. More on that in a few moments here. We had Ivy Nile with Maxine Dupree going up against Valhalla. Basic match here. Valhalla had the upper hand for a while, but then Ivy picked up the victory with her avalanche bulldog. They call it the pit bull. She picked up the win. Showcase for Ivy Nile. We also had a little backstage segment with Jey Uso and the New Day. Kofi Kingston challenged Gunther to an Intercontinental Championship match for next week's Raw. And I know that Gunther screwed up during his promo with Rollins. He mentioned Sunday instead of Saturday. I mean, that's a mistake that's common. You know, there have been so many Sunday pay-per-views. It's like a force of habit. So I don't see a problem with getting the day wrong, although you got to make it clear to people that it is Saturday, which the announcers did. So no harm, no foul as far as I'm concerned. Kofi gets another crack next week at the IC title. He will lose, but hey, gets his opportunity. And then we had Nia Jax coming to the ring for a promo, just gloating about beating Becky Lynch. The crowd did the what chants. Becky interrupted and said that everyone is coming for Nia Jax. Nia has a big target on her back. Nobody likes her. Then Bayley showed up. Damage Control was seen in the background during the backstage segment with the New Day and Jey Uso. And Bayley came out there, said they were both going to lose. That led to a fight breaking out. Manhandle slam to Bayley. And then Nia Jax sent Becky out of the ring and did a leg drop to Bayley. Nia Jax stood tall. I feel bad for Bayley because she got beat up here, and it kind of made her look weak. I mean, this was really about setting up Becky Lynch, and I know they're trying to make Nia Jax an irresistible force in this match. TJS said I didn't say much about whether I think Seth will be good to go. I think he is. I don't think he would have said what he said if he's not going to be cleared for WrestleMania. I think they're just going to have him off TV for a month or two, and he's going to rehab, and he'll gut it out for WrestleMania. That's what it looks like. We had our Royal Rumble by the numbers segment. These are always very well done. They aired 2 videos on Raw. One was relatively early in the show, and then later on they aired a second one. Good stuff here. I'm sure they'll play them again before the Rumble matches. We had a little backstage confrontation with Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley. I expect this to be the WrestleMania match. I mean, I feel very strongly now that Becky's winning. Not that I didn't before, but that's clearly what they're teasing here. I don't think Bayley is going to win the Rumble. I think she's going to lose to further tease the breakup between Bayley and Damage Control. We had The Miz versus Dominic Mysterio, and this was a good match with these guys. What's interesting to me is I feel like Dominic and Rhea Ripley have really been distanced on television in recent weeks, and maybe that's by design, and they're setting up to the eventual Rhea Ripley face turn or split with Judgment Day. But anyways, you had Judgment Day out there. You had JD McDonough, Finn Balor out there, and they were interfering in the match. Miz, though, was able to take them out, and Miz showed off some athleticism. Springboard crossbody. Dominic kicked out of that. Miz did the it kicks. But then Finn Balor took a cheap shot while the referee was dealing with JD McDonough, and Dominic was able to win. Frog Splash. He defeated The Miz. Big win for Dominic. And then afterwards, Finn Balor came in very aggressive as Rhea Ripley instructed. And then DIY ran out to make the save. Miz got a little bit of payback. Skull-crushing finale to JD McDonough. And then Balor pulled out JD to safety before DIY could hit the meeting in the middle. And DIY will be getting their opportunity on next week's Raw Tag Team title match. There's still only 4 matches for the Royal Rumble. I'm thinking the world title match is definitely going to get a good amount of time. And then backstage, R-Truth had more money for Damian Priest. His cut for the Dominic t-shirts, or as R-Truth puts it, the Tom and Nick Mysterio t-shirts. Damian Priest said it wasn't the time, and McIntyre was brought up by Damian Priest how McIntyre could not beat Roman Reigns, could not beat Gunther, could not beat Seth Rollins, and maybe McIntyre is jealous of Priest with Money in the Bank and said that McIntyre will receive his punishment in the main event. Next up, we had another promo from Big Bronson Reed. He issued a challenge to main event Jey Uso for next week's show. I feel like Jey should have had a bigger role on this show. Like, they didn't do much to set him up as a contender to win the Rumble. I would have liked that. Like, if I had to say something negative about this show, I felt like Jey was almost an afterthought on this show. They should have done a video or something with him talking about how he still has some unfinished business with Roman Reigns. I don't know. I just felt like Jey Uso was completely in the background here, and he was for the most part. We had Chad Gable versus Ivar, which was the best Raw match in several months as far as I'm concerned. A very competitive match with these guys. Gable was going right after Ivar. Ivar, though, using his power. Ivar came off the apron with a splash onto Gable, and Gable kept trying to get back into it. Tried to apply the ankle lock. Gable busted out a big superplex to Ivar, which looked really cool. And then Ivar missed the Doomsault. Gable did this big German suplex, went for the pin, but Ivar kicked out. And then you had Gable going up top, trying to finish off Ivar, but then Valhalla showed up. No surprise here. She screamed in his face, and with that brief distraction, Ivar took advantage and picked up the win with the Doomsault. Very good match with these guys. No surprise, Ivar got his win back. Gable continues to be the most underappreciated guy in WWE. Always coming out there and putting on great performances. So, yeah. When is Gable going to get his justice, though? Like, he never got his rematch with Gunther, but the guy continues to deliver at a very high level. So, props to him. We had Our big segment that everybody was waiting for, the Cody Rhodes and CM Punk confrontation. They shook hands and they were very friendly in the beginning, but CM Punk brought up how, like, would they still be friends on Sunday after the Royal Rumble? CM Punk gave praise to Cody's dad, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, brought up how when Cody was breaking in, Dusty wanted CM Punk to look after him, and that's what he did. But Punk's worried now that it's going to be a broken promise because CM Punk was supposed to take care of Cody, but now at the Royal Rumble, instead of looking out for him, he's going to be looking for him. And Cody responded saying, yes, he was hired. He's the son of Dusty Rhodes. And CM Punk could have treated him poorly, but didn't, treated him like a peer. However, Cody sees that as being bittersweet because in the Royal Rumble, there are no friends. And then Punk talked about how they went down different paths, even though they had the same goal. And Punk brought up how his father was blue collar, and in a way that made him, CM Punk, more of the American dream than Cody Rhodes. And then Cody took that a little bit personal and brought up the pipe bomb, how it was a revolution and it inspired Cody. However, CM Punk left WWE, dropped the torch. Cody picked it up, and as it turns out, Cody became more of CM Punk than CM Punk. Punk, at this point, took that personally, took off his hoodie, and said that Cody's been carrying the company for 2 years, but now this guy who's a bigger star is coming in to take it all away, take away the story, and that person is him, CM Punk. And Cody responded by saying that the only direction he can go is forward, and he's going to go through Punk at the Royal Rumble. And then Cody started to leave. Punk grabbed him, and they had a very intense stare down. Looked like they were maybe going to start making out. They got nose to nose, and they finally backed off. Cody left the ring. Great segment here with these guys. You know, very, very strong mic work from both guys, as you would expect. Long segment here, too. Good stuff. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat, says, how about Cody versus Punk for WrestleMania 41? I mean, that is certainly a possibility. I mean, we got to get this match at some point. Don't know when we're going to get the one-on-one match with these guys, but you know it's inevitable. And who knows? I mean, if there was a worst-case scenario with Rollins and The Rock is facing Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, you could always go with CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Maybe SummerSlam. So, yeah, definitely check out this segment if you missed it. Walter Cruz, Rage of Wrestling, sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, I would book CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam rather than wait for WrestleMania 41. Well, I would say do it when you have an opportunity to do it. It is a WrestleMania caliber match, but if the timing is right and SummerSlam works out, then do it at SummerSlam. I mean, that would certainly be a main event caliber match for SummerSlam. Definitely a very successful segment as far as building up hype for the Rumble and really painting the picture that both guys need to win this match. They're friends, but at the end of the day, there are no friends in the Royal Rumble. Now, we had a Hulk Hogan video package. We are coming up Tuesday, the 23rd, is the anniversary of Hulkamania. And Hulk Hogan cut this little promo in this video package, basically talking about the Royal Rumble matches, and he gave his predictions for the Royal Rumble. But then Hulk Hogan, he just had to do it. He did the little tease. He was saying, like, there's the wild card in the Royal Rumble. You never know. You never know who is going to win the Royal Rumble or enter the Royal Rumble. And he said that maybe he has one more left in him. Now, I don't think there's anything to this whatsoever. You have to keep in mind, Hulk Hogan is 70 years old. He has a walking stick, and he cannot go over the top rope. I am 99.9999% sure of that Hulk Hogan cannot go over the top rope. So I think this is just him being Hulk Hogan and just having a little bit of fun. Like, I would not read too much into this. Like, he's not gonna be in the Rumble because he can't go over the top rope, you know. Remember the Iron Sheik at WrestleMania 17? They booked the Iron Sheik to win because the Iron Sheik literally could not go over the top rope. So don't worry about it, guys. I know people are freaking out. They think Hulk Hogan is gonna be in the Rumble. Nah, I don't see it happening. But then again, did we think CM Punk was coming back to WWE? And then, you know, I could say there's no chance of it happening, and then it somehow does happen. But I don't think so. I think we're safe that we don't have to see Hulk Hogan in the Royal Rumble. But hey, happy 40th anniversary to Hulk Hogan for Hulkamania. Definitely a major milestone in wrestling history. When he beat the Iron Sheik and Hulkamania was born. Yes, TJS, Hulk Hogan has a walking stick. Got to pay attention to NoDQ.com so you know this stuff. Anyways, let's get back to Raw. We had Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae against Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Very basic match here. I mean, there was really nothing to it. Very little crowd heat, too. Went back and forth a little bit, but then Z360 to Candice. They pinned her, and then you had Damage Control show up. You had the champions, Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, at ringside. They were attacked by Damage Control, left laying. So yeah, just setting up Damage Control going for the tag team titles, and Baszler and Zoe Stark get a win. You know, not much else to say about this one. Drew McIntyre cut a little backstage promo. I guess he's a tweener at this point. You know, he talked about how he's sick of people putting a negative spin on his pandemic run. He said that it was a great time in his career, and he said people were telling him how much it meant, and it literally saved lives. People were able to get through the pandemic because of McIntyre and WWE continuing the show. And he said there's room for only one chosen one in WWE. We also had Adam Pearce backstage. He was upset with Damage Control for going into business for themselves. And we also had Pearce meeting up with Jinder Mahal and Indish Share. So I guess they're going to be doing stuff. They're going to be continuing to have a presence in WWE. I don't know. I don't care. The This Guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, hey, Hogan is a superhero. He saved a girl recently. Yeah, there was that story about the woman, young woman. I think she might have been 17. She was in a car accident, and Hogan was there to help out. Hulk Hogan probably, with the 24-inch pythons, he probably lifted that car and just flipped it back over and pulled her to safety. Hulk Hogan, whatever his story was as to what he did. So thank you for that super chat, This Guy Experience. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the super chat. Love you, man. And now we had our main event of the evening, which was Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. Good match here. Good big man match between these guys. McIntyre did the belly-to-belly throw on the outside, but then Priest raked the eyes, set McIntyre into the post, and then did the broken arrow on the announce table. After the commercial break, we had the double big boot. Priest was able to avoid the Claymore. He hit the broken arrow, and then he sent McIntyre to the outside. At this point, we had R-Truth showing up. R-Truth had his money. He wanted to give Priest his cut. Earlier on, Priest said it wasn't a good time, so Truth thought this would be the time. But McIntyre took advantage of this with the Future Shock DDT. Truth got shoved by Priest, and Truth was trying to put the money in the briefcase, but he didn't know the password. So he got on the apron. He asked for the password, and McIntyre was distracted here. He punched out Truth. Priest took advantage. South of Heaven choke slam, but the referee was dealing with R-Truth, and Priest was not able to get the win. McIntyre then hit the Claymore, got the 1-2-3 victory, and that was the end of Raw. I love R-Truth, but this probably ended the streak of Truth. I mean, it did end the streak of Truth being in the best segment of the show. And I actually thought this was a little bit of a negative. I did not feel like the comedy fit here. This was the final segment on the go home episode of Monday Night Raw to really hook people for Saturday. Not that people are not going to watch or anything, but still, I think the final segment of Raw should have really been this huge moment to set up the Royal Rumble. And it was just McIntyre winning, R-Truth coming out there doing the comedy. So I thought the end of Raw was a little flat. And I love the R-Truth stuff, but I don't think this was the time or the place for this. So yeah, a little bit of a letdown at the end. No Brock Lesnar. I was thinking Brock was going to show up here. He should have shown up. He could have shown up here. I think they should have done Cody and Punk last and had Brock Lesnar show up at the end. So just when you think it's Cody and Punk, all of a sudden here comes Brock Lesnar. But yeah, no Brock Lesnar. I don't know if that means he's going to be a surprise entrant in the Rumble, but it would have been a nice little touch. All in all, Raw was a very good show. Punk and Cody delivered, and Chad Gable had a really good match with Ivar, and the Seth Rollins stuff was well done too. All in all, I give the show a B+. Very good Raw, very good go-home show. Maybe a few things I would have done differently, but all in all, solid build-up for Saturday's show. Tiger sent in, I think, a €2 super chat. I appreciate that. So thank you for that. Thank you for that super chat. Says, Triple H changed the WWE from trash to gold. Big ups. Absolutely. Triple H definitely doing things right here in WWE. So thank you for that, Tiger. And thank you to everyone for sending in your super chats tonight. Much love and appreciation. Remember, Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, we will be doing our predictions for the Royal Rumble. Check that out. And stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the latest news. You can check out the video clips from Raw over on NoDQ. And I'll be back later this week with more content here on the NoDQ YouTube channel. Follow on the social media accounts. Stay tuned, everyone. And say yes to NoDQ.com. I will see you all next time.